This video will walk you through how to use our printed data sheets. If you plan to collect data on a device like a phone or tablet, watch that video instead. To find the data collection form, go to our website at solareclipsesafari.org and navigate to the Participate tab. Here you can scroll down or click here and find the Print Out a Data Collection Form section. In this section, you'll find the data collection form linked here. When you download the form, it will look like this. The first page has instructions for what to do before the eclipse. The second and third pages have tables for data collection, and the bottom of the third page has instructions for what to do after the eclipse. Essentially, I'm going to walk you through the instructions with additional details and examples. First, safety is important. During the eclipse, when you're looking at the sun, make sure to wear eclipse glasses. You don't have to wear them while you're looking at the animals. Next, fill out the top of page 2. For this, we will need your email if you're an adult over 18, the city and state or zip code of the location you plan to observe from, and the time of the eclipse where you will be. We can go back to page 1 to find that out. This link will take you to the time and date website. On this website, we can click on the magnifying glass to type in a location or directly on a location on the map to find the time of the eclipse maximum there. I'm going to be observing in Fort Worth, Texas, so we can look that up as an example. We can see our maximum here at 1:41 and 44 seconds p.m. With that information, I would fill out my form like this. If you already know what animal you're observing, you can write that in here, but you can also add that information after you print. Now we can move on to step 4. We need to fill in times into our data sheet. We already have the time of our eclipse maximum. It has bolded borders, an asterisk, and the word maximum. This time column is the number of minutes to add or subtract from your maximum time. I can start by filling out the time an hour before my maximum, and then adding 5-minute increments as indicated on the left until I hit the next bold line. Now I'm at 10 minutes before the eclipse maximum, so I can type 1:32 and switch to 2-minute increments. Now I'm at 4 minutes before the eclipse, so I can type 1:38 and switch to 1-minute increments. Now I can do the same for after the eclipse, in 1-minute increments, then 2-minute increments, then 5-minute increments. Here's my sheet with all the times filled out. You'll watch an animal until its behavior returns to normal, so you probably won't make observations at all of these times, but it's best to have them set up just in case. Now I can move on to step 5. We want to become familiar with animal behaviors. You can review the animal behavior training video for more details, and our cloud cover scale. The cloud cover scale is shown on page 1 and ranges from clear sky to overcast, with 1 representing clear skies and 5 representing overcast. You'll note the cloud cover from 1 to 5 at each time point. Next, you can set alarms at each time interval if your phone can set alarms on vibrate to remind you to make an observation. Otherwise, you can use your watch or phone to keep track of time. Now we're ready to print the sheet, and it should look something like this. Note that the blue boxes are gone, and you don't have to print in color. On the day of the eclipse, I can fill out my paper form by marking off as many behaviors as I observe at each time, noting cloud cover, and making any additional notes I think are relevant. There's space for you to write in other behaviors you observe at the top of the page. There's also space for notes next to each time, as well as at the bottom of pages 2 and 3. If you didn't do it beforehand, make sure to write down what animal you observed. Ideally, you'll begin data collection an hour before your eclipse maximum. If you don't start at that time, just begin making observations when you hit the next time marked on your sheet. Here's an example of what your form may look like after you've finished observation. Here's page 1, and here's page 2. You can see that in this imaginary example, I ended up observing a baboon. It was a young baboon, and I knew the type of baboon was a Hamadryas baboon, so I noted all of that down. You should be as specific as possible. In this example, I may have arrived at my site around 12:50, so I began noting behaviors starting at 12:52. I've marked off all of the behaviors that I observed at each time, including additional behaviors that I saw, and made notes for some of the time points. I've also added the cloud cover measures. In this pretend example, you can see that although I was only watching one young individual, I made note of some interesting things other baboons did. You can do this too. Behaviors had returned to normal about 30 minutes after the eclipse, so I stopped observations there. Now we're ready to follow the instructions on page 3. We can start by opening our fillable PDF. We can now transcribe our information into this form. Here, my first observation was at 12:52, and my animal was moving fast, having a positive social interaction, making noise, and playing, so I can check all of those boxes. The cloud cover was 1, and I made a note that the animal was playing with its brother or cousin. So I can fill that out in this form, and I would continue that for all of the time points. Once I've finished that, I can save this form and then click here or use this QR code to submit my form. That will take you here. You can answer the first few questions, and then when you get to this question, you want to select that you took notes on paper. At this point, we already took our notes, so we can click yes. Now we want to upload our saved file. You can also include a picture of your datasheet. We would rather that you attach your typed form, but you could instead attach good photographs of an easy-to-read form. After that, you'll be asked more questions about yourself and your experience during the eclipse. Thank you so much for your participation in this project. We think it'll be really exciting.